Good evening, everyone. Again, please stay muted throughout the presentation if you can. That would be great. Thank you all for joining us. We have a general information session where you're going to learn about just general FCC information, the enrollment steps, and then you're going to have a special presentation from Counseling and Advising Transfer Services. We're going to hear from a current FCC student as well to learn about her experience as a student. On behalf of the admissions team and FCC, I welcome you all. We are excited to share with you information about the college. During the presentation, again, please stay muted, and we have a chat box going, so feel free to put in your questions in the chat box throughout the presentation. We have staff on hand who will be answering those questions. And then we'll also have time at the end to address any questions that we didn't get to throughout the presentation in the chat box. So before I start with a general presentation, I'm going to introduce Samantha, who is a second-year student at FCC. She's going to introduce herself to everyone and then let you all know why she chose to attend FCC. Samantha?
Hi, my name is Samantha. I'm a sophomore at FCC. I graduate this spring. I'm currently a general studies major, but after this year, I'm planning on transferring to a four-year university to study statistics and minor in psychology. And I came from Middletown High School, by the way. Oh, and I chose FCC because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do and what I wanted to study, and I figured FCC was the best option to figure that out at an affordable price as well and not have to do it at a four-year right away. So I'm really glad I chose FCC. I love FCC and I've had a great experience here.
Perfect. Thanks, Samantha. So we're going to hear from Samantha a couple different times throughout this presentation to kind of mix things up a little bit. I am going to kick things off and share my screen here so I can go over some general information with you all. 1 second. All right, I think everyone can see that. So we just wanted to say that to begin, FCC is here for you, and we are doing everything we can to make sure that the COVID-19 pandemic does not interrupt your educational goals and that you have access to the resources and services you need. Because we're not doing in-person or on-campus events, here on the slide, and we'll link these in the chat box for you, we do have some good resources for you to still be able to see campus and kind of explore what FCC has to offer. So we have a campus tour guide where you can see what is all located in our buildings across campus. We have a virtual tour of campus. We have our view book that has stats and information about the school, and we also have an admissions video that has student testimonials and just different clips of seeing students in the classroom and things like that. So check out our admissions website. Again, we'll link that for you, but we have some good resources there. Here is a snapshot of our student profile. We have approximately 6,000 credit students and even many more continuing education workforce development students. Over 31% of Frederick County Public School graduates attend FCC. And we have a 15-to-1 student to faculty ratio, which means small class sizes. And about 70% of our students are part-time, while 30% are full-time. And over half of our students plan to transfer upon graduation and continue to pursue a bachelor's degree. We have over 85 different academic programs. In the chat box, we will also link where you can look at all of our different programs. We just don't have the time to go into depth of all of them, but some popular programs, we have some healthcare majors, business administration, STEM, cybersecurity. General studies is also popular with students who are not sure what they want to declare as a major just yet. On the website, when you go and look at all of our programs, you can actually look at your curriculum pathway to see exactly what courses you would have to take for your particular major to get your associate's degree. So that's a really nice feature to have and available for all students. At FCC, you can earn an associate's degree, which is probably the most common academic degree that students think of when they think of community college. So associate's degree is when you earn 60 credits, and we like to say 15 to finish. So if you attend FCC as a full-time student and take 15 credits each semester for 2 years, you'll graduate with your associate's degree after those 2 years. You can also earn certificates, which is about 30 to 36 credits. And then we also have what we call letter of recognitions, which are about 6 to 9 credits, depending on what the area is. You can think of it kind of as a really mini minor that maybe you could stack one of those onto your degree that you've declared. About our academics, we have very flexible scheduling options. We have tons of online classes, hybrid classes. There's evening and weekend course offerings available. Right now with the pandemic, our current situation with the fall semester is we're mainly remote and have online courses. There are some hybrid courses just depending on the particular course, but we have that flexibility of the different classes based on your schedule. So a lot of our students work, so that's why we offer evening classes for students, online classes to give you that work-life balance. There's also classes available for any type of student, no matter where you are in your career. So we have dual enrollment, which some of you may be a part of. You can take college level classes at FCC or through FCC while you're still in high school. And you get college credit for it, and you also get credit towards your high school diploma. We also have classes for visiting students. So say after you graduate high school and you attend a 4-year, when you come home over the summer, you can take classes at FCC as being a visiting student. And then those credits will transfer to your 4-year, saving yourself time and money taking those classes over the summer. You can also take classes for personal enrichment, to pursue a degree, get a certificate, continuing education, lots of ways for you to academically be successful at FCC. So I had mentioned earlier about continuing education and workforce development, or CEWD. These programs do not have academic weight attached to them. So if your plan is after FCC to transfer to a 4-year and take your credits with you to complete a bachelor's degree, you most likely will not be pursuing a CEWD program. These are short-term training programs, kind of a fast track to get you out into the workforce or the industry of that particular program you're studying. So these courses and programs are offered at the Monroe Center, which is part of FCC, but it's located about 15 minutes away from main campus near the Frederick Fairgrounds. They have a separate facility that has healthcare labs, trade labs, a makerspace lab. Our HCTI, Hospitality, Culinary, Tourism Institute is located there, so they have a full dine-in restaurant and industrial-sized kitchen for students. Some of those programs in the healthcare field, you can do certified nursing assistant, phlebotomy, vet assistant, dental assisting. Our trades, we have HVAC, electrical, welding. There's also real estate program you can take there, childcare certificates, computer and technology classes. So there's a lot of different offerings at the Monroe Center. And again, CEWD, there's no academic credit weight to it. It's just a fast track short-term training program for you to get into your industry or your field right away. Next, I want to talk about some support services that are offered at FCC. Now, all of them listed here on the left-hand side, counseling and advising, transfer services, and career services, are all kind of under the same department. And we're going to hear after myself from an advisor speak on all of these areas. So I'm not even going to cover them. You can just kind of glance over and read what's on the screen there. But Marcia is going to go into depth about those services. So on the right-hand side, we have our Learning Commons, which has our library, so library services and resources, computers, study spaces, all of those are free and available for students to use. There's a free tutoring and writing center. If you ever need help in a class, you can always make an appointment and get some help, some free tutoring. They also have study skill workshops. They'll help you with test anxiety, procrastination, doing well on your exam, note taking, different workshops like that are free and available for students. And then we also have a separate STEM Learning Center. So it's free tutoring for students in any science, technology, engineering, or math class. And again, all of these services are free for students. We also have an honors college through FCC. So in order to graduate with honors, you need to have at least a 3.25 GPA or higher, and you must complete 12 honors credits. So that would be 4 honors classes throughout your time at FCC. While you're in the program, you're going to complete an independent study project, which is kind of similar to a practicum or an internship, would be like an equivalent to what they have at the 4 years. You'll present at a conference or earn service or leadership certificates. It looks really marketable on your resume and on your college applications when you're applying to 4 years that you have honors college under your belt. And this is something separate that you will apply for. Their website, and we'll put it in the chat box for you. It's frederick.edu/honors college. There's an application that you do need to fill out and apply for. And then there's also scholarship opportunities as well through honors. We also offer multicultural student services. That's a great department on campus available for all students. They provide academic planning, mentoring, leadership development, cross-cultural experiences. The PASS program, which some of you might be familiar with in the high schools, this is a year-long support program for students who have been placed into a developmental class. There's a 2-week summer bridge component to that, where the students normally would come to campus and do a 2-week FCC college course before your semester starts in the fall to kind of get your feet wet and get an idea of what a college course is like. And MSS also has scholarships available through their department as well. Then we also have services for students with disabilities. They offer accommodation plans for students, workshops, coaching. So if any student is interested or needs SSD, the first step is to set up an initial meeting with an SSD staff member. They'll look at the student's documentation and discuss the disability and the impact that has on their learning. And then they'll work with the student to come up with an individualized accommodation plan for that student. So to set up a meeting, we'll put the contact information for SSD in the chat box, but they have a phone number you can call, or their email is disabilityservices@frederick.edu. All right, next I want to talk about student engagement a little bit. It's really important to get involved no matter where you go to school. I think a big misconception about community colleges is you just come to campus, you go to class, and then you leave and go home. At FCC, we have a very involved student engagement office, a really involved student government association that they put on programming for current students by students. So there's over 30 different clubs and organizations, and they can range from academic clubs like the nursing club or cybersecurity club to gaming club to ceramic club. And if there's not something there that you're interested in, you can work with our student engagement office and they will have the support for you to be able to start whatever club or organization you want. They hold events on campus and off campus. They've done a 90s student social in the student center before. They do bus trips off campus. Just a lot of ways for you to meet students and kind of have that bond outside of the classroom. We also offer athletics through FCC, so part of the National Junior College Athletic Association. So our men's sports are listed here and our women's sports are listed here. If you're interested in playing sports at FCC, on the athletics webpage, there is a recruit questionnaire that you can fill out, and it will go directly to the coaches if you have not already spoken to them. Okay, how much does it cost to go to FCC? FCC is definitely a smart investment. Our students graduate with little college debt while still getting a quality education. So our tuition and fees overall are less than half of what they are at 4-year public colleges in Maryland. This chart right here shows the annual cost for a full-time in-county student taking 30 credits per year. So you can see that comparison to a public school in the state of Maryland and then to a private school in the state of Maryland. And those two numbers don't include room and board either. These are just tuition and fees. So to attend FCC for 1 full year, taking 30 credits, 15 credits each semester, you're looking to pay close to $4,700. And FCC also has payment plans through our student accounts office. And we also offer many scholarships, like I mentioned, through honors, MSS, we have STEM scholars, our foundation office. So there's a lot of scholarship opportunities as well out there. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up then with my portion on the enrollment steps. So how to get started at FCC. The first thing you wanna do is apply, frederick.edu/apply. We are open admissions, so you just need to fill out the application and that starts the enrollment process. There's no application fee, no essay requirements, no recommendation requirements. It will take you about 5 minutes to fill out the online application. Please note, dual enrollment students, if you are dual enrollment or you currently were doing dual enrollment, you need to fill out a new application. There's 2 reasons for this. 1, for you to declare major, and 2, for you to be eligible for financial aid. If you don't fill out a new application, we still have you in the system as dual enrollment and not a degree seeking student. So just make sure you fill out that application again. Your ID number and email address will stay the same. After you apply, you want to start thinking about financial aid. The first thing to do for that is file the FAFSA. That opened on October 1st. It's FAFSA.gov. If you need help filing a FAFSA or more information on how to do that, contact our financial aid office. They are more than willing to help you, and we'll make sure that we put their contact information in the chat box as well. Scholarships, like I kind of mentioned earlier, you want to make sure that you can apply for those through our foundation office. They'll become available in the spring. There's state scholarships available through Maryland Higher MHEC. There's the Promise Scholarship, which is newer. Any local scholarships you get through your school, banks, churches, your parents' employers. Just apply for as many scholarships as you can. Every little bit helps. We're also going to link for you in the chat box. We have a financial aid roadmap that gives a step-by-step of how you can apply for financial aid, everything from the FAFSA to scholarships and all of the deadlines that apply to those. So we will link that for you so you have that handy. All students that attend FCC must complete placement testing in math, reading, and sentence skills before enrolling in credit courses. So these are just an assessment. They're not graded, so you don't need to panic. You can do practice tests for these to kind of know what to expect. But we do have some exemptions. If you meet any of these exemptions, and again, we'll link in the chat box all of the different exemptions. I couldn't list them all here on this slide, but if you've taken the SAT or the ACT, the scores you need to be exempt from placement testing are listed there. We have some AP score exams, exam scores you need. If you have a GPA of a 3.0 or higher, you're exempt. PARCC scores, GED scores, IB scores. There's a bunch of different exemptions out there. So the best bet is to just send your high school transcript, send any test scores you have, and once we have your exemptions, we'll put them in the system, and then you don't have to worry about placement testing. If you need to do placement testing, right now our testing center is offering virtual placement testing that you can do it from your home through Zoom. Or if you want to come to campus and do placement testing in person, you are able to do that, but you need to schedule an appointment ahead of time because they're only letting so many people on campus at a time. After you do your placement testing, you're eventually going to meet with an advisor. And again, Marcia is going to touch on this in detail, so I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty, but all new students to FCC are going to go through ROAR, which is our required orientation, advising, and registration. And that for new students, high school grads, after you graduate, the ROAR is going to start in your spring semester of high school. You'll meet with an advisor, pick out your classes, and then they'll show you how to register, how to get your bill, and then you'll eventually buy books and all of that. So here are our enrollment steps. Again, pretty straightforward. Just start with the application. Once you apply, you're going to get a welcome letter and an enrollment checklist from the admissions office sent to you in the mail to go over your next steps. So finally, here's the admissions contact information, our phone number. That's my email address, and then also the admissions email address. If you have any questions along the way, feel free to reach out to any of both or any of those email addresses. We're on Instagram, and then there is our website. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. Okay, and Samantha, are you close by?
Yeah, hi.
Cool. So Samantha, we're going to chat real quick before I pass things over to Marcia. But I just wanted to ask, what has been the biggest difference for you between your transition from high school to college?
I would definitely have to say the independence over deciding what you want to study and like your time management. Like in high school, you have to be in class for a certain amount of time and like at a certain time of day. But at FCC, I can take classes whenever I want. It's whenever it's convenient to me. I can take as many credits as I want or need. And I found that to be really beneficial, especially because I'm a singer-songwriter outside of school. So the flexibility in my schedule and what I want to study has been really nice.
Perfect. And actually, we have another student on as well. Angel, are you here now?
Yeah, I am.
Hey, Angel. Okay, do you want to just quick introduce yourself to everyone? Just give us your name, your major, why you chose FCC, and then maybe what your experience of the transition from high school to college is for you.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Angel Legnell. I'm gonna start my last semester, my last spring semester here at FCC and graduate as a computer science major. For me, my experience of transferring from high school to college was a very interesting experience because in high school, you have teachers that are really like go out of your way to help you with like every single step, kind of like baby steps. And for college, the professors, it's like mostly up to you to ask the questions. Like they won't tell you these things. You have to ask and be like, hey, what do I need to do this, this, and this? And there's a lot of differences too. Like I think the most important difference would be, for me, the homework. The transition was a bit rough in my own experience personally, because in high school I could like finish it all, like all the assignments I'd get from class within like 2 to 3 days. But for college, it's a lot more extended over a period of time. So like they can assign you to do like multiple essays that might take you like a week or two to accomplish.
Yeah, I think that's really important. You really have to, time management is a big thing when you get to college for sure, because you're just really independent and juggling a lot of things at once. So awesome. Thanks, Samantha and Angel. We are going to check back in with you guys in a bit. So now I'm going to turn things over to Marcia Mason-Sowell. She is an advisor, part of our counseling and advising and transfer services office. So she is now going to talk about those services. Marcia?
Hello there. As Jen said, my name is Marcia, and I'm representing Counseling and Advising Office. Our office provides advising services for new and current students. When we're on campus, we're located on the second floor of Jefferson Hall. Of course, right now we're operating remotely. Our hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. We do email advising, but that's mainly for just general questions. Probably the majority of our advising is done through phone and virtual appointments now, in-person appointments when we're on campus. As far as new students, any student who is new to college actually does come through that VOR process, and our advisors are the first people to see them for advising. New students would include recent high school grads, and that also includes students who have maybe taken courses here at FCC as open campus or dual enrolled students. So they come through Aurora as well. But those new college students also include adult learners as well. Jen had mentioned the ROAR process. Students do go through the admissions and testing or exemptions first, and then they actually will schedule a ROAR appointment, which is an individual appointment with an advisor. At that time, if they tested, we help by interpreting their placement tests. We review a student's degree plan requirements with them, and then help them to select courses for enrollment for that particular semester. We also, of course, see current students. Current students meet with advisors who actually have been assigned to them by their major. So a current student would either meet with their assigned advisor. Some current students meet with program managers, and we try to stay connected with students throughout the time that they're at FCC, helping them with registration, enrollment, helping them select courses, giving them assistance when they have general questions, or just need advice in terms of getting through the process of college, and knowing that they have someone who can help support them throughout all of that. I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see how you can reach us in terms of our website. So hold on just a second and I'll get there. Okay, hopefully everyone can see this. So this is the FCC website. And over here, you'll see programs. We use that a lot with students because we are helping them to go through their 4-year plan and see exactly which courses they need to take. I'll come back to that because when I start talking about transfer services, there is something there that I want to make sure that students are aware of also. And if you go to resources on this black bar, you can actually get to career services, transfer services, and then a little bit further down, there's counseling and advising. So as a new student, you would come to this counseling and advising website, and you would go here to ROAR. If you click on that, it gives you all the different steps for ROAR, but it does talk about the fact that we help students to kind of build an individualized plan for success and to meet their requirements and meet their goals. For current students, they actually would find their assigned advisor here based on the academic program that they were in. And then they would go here to actually set up an advising appointment with their advisor. Those appointments are generally about 30 minutes. And students, we encourage students, especially around the time of registration when they're planning courses, to meet with their advisor. Okay, we also do advise students under 16. So I'm going to go back. to career, because we also have staff in our office who help students with career services. So it's really important for students to know what their major and career goals are. Sometimes it's really difficult because a student will know that they want to get a college degree, but they're not exactly sure what they want to do. Maybe they have lots of interests, so it's a little difficult for them. There's lots of resources that are available to help students to guide them through that career exploration process, helping them choose majors, helping them with their career direction. And then also, once students have determined what they want to do, our career services also help students with employment services, either for part-time or full-time jobs, as well as internships. Students can always make an appointment for career advising, and then also they can go to the website where there's a lot of really helpful resources. Okay. So I'm going to go to transfer services. All right. So a lot of students sometimes, I'm going to hit on a couple of different areas that usually come up with students. One is, well, if I know that I want to transfer, how do I even begin to plan for that? So the advisors in the counseling and advising office are always going to be asking students, well, what are your goals? What are your plans? And helping them through that process. So if you know that you want to be in a major or a career that's going to require more education beyond an associate's degree at FCC, and so that would necessitate going to a four-year school, then you're going to begin that planning usually from very early on. It's always best to start that planning pretty early so that you can begin to search for the colleges that you think you might want to attend, do some research on those colleges, learn about the admission requirements, learn about the majors that are there and what the courses are that are required so that you can be taking the appropriate courses while you're at FCC. The transfer website will help you through some of those, some of that information about searching. Here's one. We click for students. So it will help you through that process of searching for colleges. There's a lot of wonderful resources that are available, including some local ArtSys, which is a program for Maryland colleges, and then College Board has a really nice search component for students who are searching for colleges. There's also information here about transferring credits, how to really figure out what kind of required courses a student would need to be doing while they're here at FCC, and looking into how those courses may transfer when they continue on. We also have transfer articulation agreements with certain colleges. And then just as Jen was talking about looking into financial aid and scholarships for FCC, it's important for students to begin to look at those resources for when they're going to go on to their next phase of their education at a four-year school. All right. I did want to go back to programs. And as Jen said, there's a lot of information here and we can't cover it all during this time, but it does show you that there are clusters of areas and your degree is probably within this cluster. But I wanted to just pick one. I'm going to pick business. And there are different programs that we offer But the one program that is related to transfers, which would give you the smoothest pathway to business at a four-year school, would be the Business Administration AA. And the information that's here will give you the requirements for the business administration degree. I'm not going to click on that, but it'll list all of the courses that are required and elective courses that students can take to give them the 60 credits that they need for their associate's degree. That's what you'll find under curriculum. But I did want to make sure that you saw the fact that there's also transfer information, academic transfer information that would give you a pathway. And I'll just click on that just so you can kind of get an idea of what that looks like. These are the requirements for the business administration degree for students at FCC, but we've chosen some of the more popular schools that students transfer to in Maryland, and then students can see how those courses that they're doing over here will relate to the courses and the requirements at that transfer school. So those transfer pathways can be very helpful. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. And I did want to address just a couple of questions that Jen received earlier from some students. And one of them was about the nursing program. Someone had asked about, how do I talk to a counselor about prerequisites that I need for nursing? And that kind of was addressed with the fact that if you're a student who's in a particular major, you can actually go to the website and look up the assigned advisor and schedule a meeting with the assigned advisor, and they can help you walk through those prerequisites. But also in the website, the program website will show you what the curriculum is for that particular major. There were a couple of questions that were transfer related. Someone had asked about staying at FCC and getting an associate's degree versus transferring after just 1 year at FCC. And it really just depends on where you're planning to go and what you're planning to major in. But we have students who do both. Some students do leave us before completing the associate's degree because maybe there's a very specific major that they want and very specific courses that they need to start. But if a student is going to stay for an associate's degree, the advising office will help that student to determine what's the most appropriate courses for them to take. And also staying for an associate's degree may make it more available for students to get scholarships. It may help with admission to particular colleges as well. I think that kind of took care of most of the questions that were asked, but there's just a lot, just making sure that students know that there's a lot of information available. I'm going to stop now and see if there's any questions.
Great. Thank you for all that information, Marcia. That was very informative. So now we have a few minutes left. If anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat box. While we're waiting for some questions to come in, I'm going to ask for Angel and Samantha to tune back in because I'm going to ask them another question or two. So Samantha, I see you first. Let's start with you and then we'll switch it over to Angel. Can you tell us what your favorite class has been at FCC so far in your career and why?
So a lot of my classes at FCC I've actually enjoyed a lot. My favorite was probably my fundamentals of music class with Professor Adam Gonzalez, just because he was so enthusiastic. He really, and you could tell he enjoyed what he was teaching and made it really fun for us to learn. And I'm a musician outside of school, so I loved I loved being able to take a music class at FCC. But I also enjoyed my statistics class, my first semester here with Professor Jagadich. She was such a great professor, and it made me realize that I liked math and that I wanted to pursue it. So I really enjoyed that class. But all my classes have been great so far. I've had only good experiences, which is great.
How about you, Angel?
Personally, my favorite class at FCC so far has been the art courses I've taken. But my favorite class would be Drawing 1, because the art classrooms has like all the equipment you can imagine for art resources. There were times when I'd come in without the necessary materials, but they'd already have like a few extras, or someone lost their needed eraser on the floor that I could use. And they have very expensive, like thick metal easels, like the $300 huge metal easels that you could fit like a 12 by 24 canvas on, and it'd be just fine. So that was really nice that I didn't have to pay money to buy my own easel or anything. And the computer classes I've taken haven't been bad either. I actually prefer the online format for them so far.
Nice. Okay. Pausing on those real quick, we have a couple questions that are coming in. So someone asked, we've already addressed it, but just to reiterate, you must reapply if you are a dual enrollment student, regardless if you are high school based or open campus. Either option, you need to reapply so you can declare a major and be eligible for financial aid. Someone asked, can you join FCC at any age, or does it have to be right out of high school? Marcia can agree with me on this. You can join at any age. So again, we have dual enrollment students who are taking classes through us throughout high school. You can take a gap year after high school and come to FCC. We have a lot of adult students who go and work for a while, or they have other family obligations or just personal reasons not to attend right out of after high school, and you can come back 5 years after, 10 years after. So no, there's not a particular time. You can come after high school or as many years after that as you want. I think there was another question. Someone asked where you submit exemptions. Marcia, correct me if I'm wrong, the exemptions go to transfer evaluation at frederick.edu?
Yes.
Okay. So any exemptions you have, they actually go through our registration office. So the email address that you can just send your exemptions to are transferevaluation@frederick.edu. That's the email address you can send exemptions to. They'll receive it, put it in the system, and then there will be the exemptions on your account. All right, Marcia, someone asked if there's a major that her daughter wants to be an animator. Does FCC offer that, or what major or path would you recommend for that?
Yeah, we don't have an actual major in animation. Probably an art major or a graphics major might be either graphic design or art. We do have studio art major is probably the best program in that area. There are four-year schools that actually do have within their either design or art majors have concentrations within animation. So again, you'd want to be working with the advising office to develop a smooth pathway if you're interested in getting a bachelor's degree.
Great. Angel and Samantha, I'm going to ask you each one more question to kind of wrap things up. So I want to know, what is your favorite thing about FCC? Angel, you can go first.
There's a few things that are very unique about FCC that I enjoy. One would be the student resources. when I was on campus, you had a very large limit of how many pieces of paper you could print, like for free, which I thought was amazing. I very much enjoyed that. And the other student resources would be the counseling. I found that there was usually always time for me to see someone to ask for help on something. And the tutoring center is also very nice for when you need help writing essays and stuff, which I definitely utilized my first year for my English class. And then one small thing that I really enjoy about FCC was on campus, there's these outdoor classrooms, which I've never personally used, but they're very nice to like sit. And if you like bring your own chalk, you could probably use it without having to ask, or probably go to the front desk and say, hey, can I use one of your outdoor classrooms? Just because.
Yeah, those are cool to when you're walking through campus and there's actually a class going on and a professor writing on the chalkboard and students taking notes. It's pretty cool to see on campus for sure. How about you, Samantha? What's your favorite thing about FCC?
I feel like for me, it's definitely the people you get to know, because a lot of people I feel like worry about the social aspects of going to community college, that they won't make as tight-knit connections. But at the same time, I feel like everyone who attends here, whether it be students out of high school or an adult in their 60s who worked their whole life, or a single mother trying to get classes done, you meet a whole lot of different people and from all walks of life, and you get to learn their stories, and it makes you, I don't know, it changes your perspective on things, and it's nice to be surrounded by all types of people here.
That's awesome. And I totally agree with that. Working in admissions, the types of students, the age of range of students that come in, where they are in their life, we see that range as well, which is really nice and refreshing to see. Thank you to Angel and Samantha for popping on tonight to give some student perspectives. We appreciate you guys, and good luck with the rest of your semester.
Thank you.
We did have a question come in real quick about when to begin the application process. So you can start applying now if you're a high school senior and you're looking to attend fall 2021. The application is up and available on the website. Feel free to start the application process now. We do not have any deadlines of when things are due, but just keep in mind, the earlier you apply, the earlier you can then do testing or send in your exemptions. And then when roller appointments open up to meet with an advisor in the springtime, you'll kind of have early access to get one of those earlier appointments, and then to be able to register for classes earlier before others. So the sooner you do things, the better, just because you don't want to have to wait till over the summer in August where it's crazy busy and everyone's trying to pick out classes, and then sections are already filled and closed and you're on wait list. Just to avoid that, I'd go ahead and submit your application now. Again, it's free, it's not binding, so you don't have to come to FCC, but it's just kind of nice to get the enrollment process rolling for yourself. Marcia, one program question again real quick. Someone wants to major in fashion design. Are there any classes or programs along that line?
We do not have anything specifically related to fashion design. However, almost like with the animation question, there are probably courses. For one thing, every student has to do general courses. So regardless of your major, if you're coming to FCC and you're going to work toward an associate's degree, and also if you're working toward a bachelor's degree, you will need to take general education courses. So English and math and social sciences and arts and humanities. So those are definitely courses that students can work on while they're at FCC. If you're interested in fashion design, you may also want to take some courses within our art program, like a drawing course, a design course, because those are some of the basic art skills that you may need. But you probably want to start looking into four-year schools that offer fashion design majors, and then plan your courses here around that. That may be one of those situations where a student may decide to transfer a little earlier since we don't offer fashion design courses, so that they can begin those courses as soon as possible.
Great. Thanks, Marcia.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all the questions that had come in. We just want to thank everyone for being here. Marcia, thank you again so much for your insight and expertise on advising and transfer services. We do have some more of these information sessions throughout the semester where the general information by me will kind of be similar, but then we're going to have other special presentations by different departments, like how Marcia was tonight. This will conclude our session. We are also going to have a Monroe Center virtual open house that will be listed on our website sometime soon. That's going to happen in November. If you're interested in any of the CEWD Monroe programs, that will be a good opportunity for you. If you have any additional questions, feel free to contact either of our offices. I will be sending a follow-up email to everyone who came to the Zoom and participated, and I'll make sure I have some of the links that we've talked about and were posted today, so you have all of those. Wishing you all the best in your upcoming school year. Everyone be well and have a great rest of the night. Thanks again for coming.